What's up, guys?
Take us through the final play and rushing two, I guess Kyle yesterday said that the two inside linebackers, although they were bluffing the blitz, they dropped back. What was the rules there from the pass protection that maybe dropped now?
Not going to get too much into from a schematic standpoint, but it's all based on who draws who in terms of protection. It's as simple as that. That particular team ran a certain type of concept that we knew we'd have one free hitter based on the show. We weren't sure which one would show up. It was all based on protection.
Later in that play, you two obviously covered a ton of ground to get to the QB. Is that a freelance decision on his part, or is that his responsibility on that side of the field?
Yeah, he's flash, and if quarterback breaks contain, he's recontain.
When you look at week one of this season and that defense and the personnel you have now, can you really fathom all the changes and you're in the position that you're in?
Well, it's credit to the locker room. You know, I'm not going to say it's been even Sunday. It hasn't been a smooth rise, if you will. There's been some ups and downs. Like even in the game, it was kind of feast or famine. You know, when we give up explosive plays, we give up touchdowns. When we don't give up explosive plays, we hold them to field goals or less. And that's kind of been our MO as a defense over the last few weeks. But I am pumped for the guys. I mean, they're confident. They're communicating really well. We're seeing things that we haven't seen around here in a while from a conceptual standpoint that offenses are giving us, and I think they're doing a great job making the adjustments they need. You know, there's still things obviously we still got to clean up, but I'm really happy with the direction the guys are going.
After the game on Sunday, Yamato Lenore said he wanted to shadow Jackson Smith and Jigba. A couple of years ago, Javarius Ward did that here. What are like the strengths and weaknesses, the positives and negatives of doing something like that from a schematic standpoint?
That's a good question. All right, we can go long on this one, but the reality is like it's easy for the guy who travels, right? I got that guy. I'm going to travel wherever I want, especially since we're a zone-based defense, right? So if it was man coverage, easy for him. But then it is a little bit more difficult for the other guys. Like, how does everybody else align? Because we're not. Do you go match where everyone just picks a number? What if that number's not on the field? Do you pick a different number? Do you, or is it all right? We're all going to align off of Demo, and what if Demo's in the slot? Does that put the nickel out on number one where he's not used to being? So techniques change within your man principles because now you're in different locations. All right, now put yourself in zone. You're trying to match up where he is, and you're matching up now. Demo's in the slot. Does that mean Upton's now playing corner, third, which he hasn't done all year? And so there's a lot of new techniques that you're going to ask a guy to do. So it's very expensive, not for the guy traveling, but for the guys not traveling. If that makes sense. Now, can it be done? Of course, it can be done. Do we have it in our inventory? Absolutely. Can we? Maybe. So we'll see.
I don't think you're wrong. You just said it. Maybe I got to try, but conceptually, you're seeing a lot of different things you haven't seen in a while. Can you be specific as you can be while being vague? I like what you mean.
Well, you know, like obviously the deeper developing concepts that you know, when these offensive guys get creative, it's. Like you give a guy like Ben Johnson, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay, like all the great ones. You give them a week to think of what they can build from a conceptual standpoint, and have enough time try to find a way to protect the quarterback. They can get pretty damn creative. Let's put it that way.
Klay Kubiak about what Clint might be doing. What he thinks he'll be doing.
I think they keep it close to the vest. I mean, there's obviously they love one another, but. At the same time, I don't think they talk much when it comes to football.
When a team's got two running backs like Seattle does, not the only one that does this. You just saw it with Chicago too. Is there tendencies to be given by the back that's in? Will Charbonnet run different stuff than Walker, or can you kind of key in on certain plays because the certain backs in?
There's definitely different play styles. Walker's, but they're different play styles, but two very effective backs that can execute the entire offense as they see fit. You know, if that makes sense. It's, Walker, they're both very explosive. You can say Charbonnet's probably more one cut downhill, where, Kenneth can absolutely embarrass you, run away from you. He can do whatever he wants to you, and they're both very effective in their play styles. No different than last week. You know, it feels very similar to last week where Swift, again, downhill, can make you miss, can run you over, can run away from you, and 25 with just one cut and just run you over. So this backfield tandem, too, very, very effective, very, very strong. They got two really good backs.
The explosive plays, when you watch the tape, was there something you put your finger on that was leading to those specifically, or was it just play based?
Yeah, there's, you know, the off schedule play, or not the off schedule, but the free play, which probably should have gotten called dead, but they let it play. That's one. It's unfortunate that it happened the way it did. The first touchdown on the big post, I think it was the number 10. Cool concept again, something our guys haven't seen. You will be ready for it next time. It's these unscouted looks. That is it was a pretty cool concept. Let's put it that way. And then obviously the one that keeps getting us on the sideline. We just got to get it. You know, I thought we put it to bed last week against Indianapolis. I thought we did a really good job 2 weeks ago, and then it reared its ugly head again. So we just got to keep working on it.
You're saying that the guys haven't seen much of it. Are those leading to communication issues like coverage busts?
No, they're not busts. They're, you know, it's because the guys ended up where they needed to be. But when you're seeing something for the first time, you might pause. And so you're just a step late. And so we just got to do a better job anticipating. We've seen it. We should anticipate it. We should be able to react a lot faster.
This season, the defense started young. It's only gotten younger as the season goes on. And while it shows sometimes when the game is on the line, it seems like they're all just locked in and able to usually get those plays to go in your favor. What would you credit that to?
You know, I that's one thing I feel like we've done a really good job of this year. You know, I'm not saying we're a top 10 third down defense, but we've been really good in third down situations. I'm not saying we're the best red zone defense, but we've been really good in red zone situations and holding people to field goals and getting critical stops when we need to. And we've been pretty damn good this year in 2-minute situations. Chicago is the number 1 2-minute offense in football. And we stopped them. You know, they didn't score at the end of the half. They didn't score at the end of the game. And the one thing I love about our group, they will not stop fighting. You know, as rough as the game was, you know, we got the 2 3-and-outs to start the game. We gave up those 2 touchdowns. We got the stop it right before the half. Second half wasn't going our way, but we hold them to a field goal and you know, the turnover on downs in the last 2 drives, which credit to them, just fought and we trust our guys in those critical situations. They don't panic. It's not too big for them. We've been in a lot of them already this year, and you know, like you like it a heck of a lot more when it's a blowout in our favor. But they're battle tested, and I'm sure we're going to experience a few more of them before the season's out. That's okay.
Can you see Darnold as being different from the first week of the season now that he's been in this offense?
Oh yeah, even Koob, you know, just that working relationship between coordinator and quarterback. You know, there's a comfort level within the offense. They're finding ways to feed everybody the ball. I know Njigba is probably the star of it all, but they're all touching it and they're all effective. So they are much improved from week 1.
You guys finished him off with Bosa getting the strip sack fumble. How important is it to kind of get that pass rush going that really hasn't been there much last month or more?
Yeah, it's always going to be important. You know, you've got to take advantage of your one-on-ones. We've got to keep trying to find a way to create one-on-ones. You know, and even in the back end, when we do have to send more than 4, we've got to win. It's one-on-ones all over the football field. And you know, we always talk about somebody winning now. And if you can't win now, we need the back end to make sure he hitches. And that's kind of always been our philosophy. But again, our guys are going to battle, and we trust that by the time the clock strikes 0, we're going to make a play to win it.
This is like obvious, but I'm slow. But when you're seeing more of these longer developing concepts, are they trying that just because the pass rush isn't the same as
it could be. There's stuff, you know, like you know, and that's the challenge. You know, it could be on my end, just trying to find ways to create more pass rush where they can't bank on the concepts that they're trying, can't bank on the coverages. So it's not just the pass rush, it's all of it. And we've just got to, like I said, find a way to put our guys in position to be able to defend all that stuff.
Is it fair to say that you've been working? Go ahead.
You spoke to the broader assignment challenges of that shadow man coverage, but what about the specific challenge of manning up Jackson Smith and Jigba?
It is a challenge. He's been, what does he have? About 120 catches, 1,700 yards, something like that. I mean, he's had success against every team that he's played against this year. So he is elite in that regard. Coming out of the draft, I'll put my hand up. I didn't think he'd be as good as he is. I mean, he's freaking unbelievable. Just a super talented kid. Great body control, great strength at the catch point. He can go up and get it. So he's a challenge for anybody in man coverage. And at the end of the day, when your number's called to go win, we have to go win. And that's really the gist of it.
A lot of coaches say if you can't get pressure with 4, you bring 5. If you can't get pressure with 5, you bring 6. Is it fair to say that you've been more concerned with limiting explosive plays than bringing extra pressure?
Yeah, one thing I feel like we've done a really nice job of leading up, with the exception of last week. I felt like the explosive plays we've allowed had been to a minimum. I'm not sure where I would like to think. I don't know if we're top 10, but I'm pretty sure we've been pretty good in terms of limiting explosive runs, explosive passes, and when we do that, I feel like we can play pretty good defense. And but like any defense in football, if you're giving up explosive plays, you're going to light up the offense, going to light up the scoreboard. So there is the more aggressive you get, the more aggressive they can get with regards to creating those explosive plays. And so again, it's a cat and mouse game. Just how aggressive do we want to be? We got to pick and choose our battles, and hopefully we choose right when the time is right.
Offense, not this week, obviously, but just the course of the season. See what you're up to.
Probably I try to stay up with it almost every week. Miss some weeks, try to watch his games, and you kind of do that with different people around the league, and just kind of see what they're doing, and see how they're calling games, and if there's things that they're doing that interest you. I've tried to keep up with it throughout the year, and so we can just keep conversation going.
Following them from week 1 to where they are now, what's kind of stood out to you about where that offense has gone?
Oh, I wouldn't be able to evaluate or stuff like that. I just know they've done a good job of running the ball the last few weeks, and making a bunch of big plays in the pass game and complementing their defense, which has been special. So, I wouldn't say I've tracked it like that, but yeah. So.
When you and your brother talk during the season, do you talk football or do you stay away from that?
We talk about surface level stuff. We're not sharing secrets or anything like that, but we talk about just how life's going, how work's going, just relationship stuff that involves football. But, it's nice to talk to him too, just to talk about things outside of football too, and just kind of catch up on things. So, a little bit here and there, but not too much X's and O's.
Talking to him at all?
Just texting him, just good luck, have a good week.
Pleasance that caught your eye and the coaching staff's eye when he came in late last season?
Yeah, just had to jump in there really fast when he got here. I think we had some injuries right away. It's kind of why we signed him, and got thrown into the fire and did a good job when he stepped in those last few weeks of the year. And then just a guy who's just, he stacked a really good offseason, good camp. He's just he's quiet, he's humble. And it was really cool to see a guy who was just ready for that moment, when we lost Trent and he didn't miss a beat and he went in there and executed. But just from the moment we got him, we threw him in there, and he's a guy who had to learn fast, and he's a smart guy, and just, really proud of him with what he was able to accomplish.
Run blocking ability, the movement ability that initially kind of catches your eye as far as, okay, this is a guy we should probably bring in just to kind of see what he could do.
Yeah, I think from a kind of a surface level, you want to see their movement skills. Do they have the athleticism to do what we need him to do in the run game? First of all, and he definitely does. He's a really good athlete. He can move, and then you kind of see over time the pass blocking, and once you get him in drills, and he's a guy we loved how he moved when we brought him in, and he was, we knew we were going to want to work with him because he had the talent.
Juwan Jennings is nosed for the end zone since he scored the last 5 games.
It's awesome. I wouldn't say it's something that happens naturally because he's always ready, and I thought that was so cool in the game how we tried to get to Juwan early and throughout the game, and the ball didn't come his way. But shoot, when we needed a big play in the fourth quarter, I think that was his first catch, and he was just so ready to catch that ball and react. And he's been a huge target for us in the red zone. It's his size, it's his competitiveness, it's how he wins on routes. Yeah, he's been our guy who's made those big plays too in the pass game. So it's been awesome.
Chicago Bears, Christian McCaffrey, with about 6 minutes left in the first, had his longest run of the season so far. What did you see that went very right in that play that allowed him to break free like that? And do you expect to see more of that type of CMC throughout the rest of the season?
I mean, it was really well blocked play. I mean, it was one of our most well blocked runs of the day. We had a hat for a hat. I think he made a safety miss, and then had a DB take a bad angle, and Christian was gone. And we expect that from Christian every week. Sometimes you need to pop one. You need to get lucky on something for some of that to happen. But it's not a lack of anything Christian's doing. I hope we get more of that. But that was a well blocked play, and keep rolling with it.
17 points each of the past 2 times you faced. What makes that defense such a tough matchup?
Man, they got great players, first of all. I mean, at all 3 levels, at the front, the linebacker, and in the back end, they have elite players. I could name them off, but you guys know them. So it's the players, and I think the coaching is really elite. They do a great job with their scheme. They're very well coached. They're probably, as sound as anyone gets in terms of their coverages. They bring enough blitzes to keep you honest, and and they're physical, and they tackle, and they do everything well, and it's just top to bottom. It's a huge challenge. It's our guys we're getting ready for it, but it's going to be a grind for sure.
Can you think back to a time as kids in the backyard, maybe drawing something up for your dad, where you and your brother were creating plays together as kids?
I was probably the one who did that more. He was more talented. He was a better player than I was. I can't remember something specific, but football is part of our life, from we were born. My dad was a player and he was a coach. We got to be around the game. And so, and then we both kind of had opportunities to do other things with our lives when we were done playing, but we found our way back to it. So, it's pretty cool.
This season, Kyle was pretty open about just the messaging changing a little bit to the team in terms of this isn't the same group. There was so much roster turnover, all that. Did you get any sense from him that he was maybe re-energized or more energized by just kind of a different challenge of you guys are maybe more the hunters and not the hunted in this type of situation?
Yeah, I think we definitely set an intention that we can't think that this team is something right now. We have to grow into something. We have to become something that it's going to be what we are based on the work and based on our process, and eliminate expectations. And you could see that from the beginning. Kyle talked about it every day. And I do think it gave not just him, but everybody kind of an energy of, hey, let's just go to work. Let's get better every day. And let's see what this group can become. There's something refreshing about that and energizing. And you're all about the work, and you want to see guys improve, and then the outcome becomes what it is. And so here we are.
I don't have any examples that you could give of something in your day-to-day that was a little different than maybe it had been in previous years?
I can't think of something specific. I think sometimes we've talked about, when we start the year, hey, we want to start this year and we want to play at our best because we want to be a Super Bowl team. We didn't talk that way this year. We talked about playing our best football every day and playing each opponent our best so that we got a chance to win every week. And it wasn't about looking ahead. And I think every week we kind of set a new intention about that week and that opponent and nothing else, and not making anything bigger. And so week to week it was like that. And yeah, that was a little different.
Sam here a couple of years ago, and he was at the point of his career where he wasn't having a ton of success to where he is now. What's the biggest development or biggest change that you've seen in him?
I mean, he's been on 2 teams in the last 2 years, and I think he's won 26 games or something. I mean, Sam's gotten a chance to go and compete on really good teams, and he's proven that he can lead, he can win, and you put a good foundation around him in an offense where he feels comfortable, and the guy's a heck of a player. We saw it when he was here. We knew the talent. We were so excited about him to have him, and I'm just happy for him because he's earned it, and he's put in the work, and it's pretty cool to see him, having the success he's having.
Kyle and players have been asked, is this the best Brock has ever played? And a lot of people have said, well, he was really good against Miami in his first game, and he blitzed him, and so he's always been really good. But I guess when you think back to his rookie year till now, what is his biggest growth area?
I mean, to me, it's confidence, with where he's at in his life, as a person, his confidence in himself. I think Brock, he'll probably admit this. It probably took him 2 or 3 years to really prove to himself that he belongs, that this is real. And I'm the franchise quarterback, and I need to be myself, and I don't need to be anything else. And I think Brock's proving to himself every day that him being himself is a really, really good quarterback. And it's a guy who's going to win a lot of games. And I just see him playing with so much confidence, more than he ever has. Not that he lacked it, but it's just full belief in himself, and it's definitely mastery of the offense and kind of where he's developed in those areas. So yeah, I just see a guy who's playing with a very clear mind.
Another question, but when you see him, the way he celebrates, he's getting better trickier. But is that part of it?
You check the tape. His first touchdown ever, he did the discount double check in a preseason game. But no, I think that's fair. You can see him. He's playing. You can tell he's having a lot of fun out there. He's playing very confidently. It probably shows in his celebrations, and he's got a little more swagger right now, and I think that's awesome.
Juwan, yes, he's on an absolute tear right now. I think it was after the Tampa game where he had detailed all of his injuries that he was trying to play through.
Mm-hmm.
How did you see him weather that?
I mean, you just got to work through it. I mean, it was tough for Juwan early in the year, really tough. He was battling some tough things, and he played hurt, and he had to miss time, and he missed training camp. And with any player who goes through that, it's going to take time to get back to where you're feeling like yourself as a football player. We know he is now. I think Juwan's playing his best football. That's a huge challenge, to be banged up, to miss time in training camp, and then to be expected to go out there and be a really productive player. And he battled through all that stuff mentally, physically, and we love where he's at. And that's part of what makes Juwan who he is. He's a grinder. He battles. He doesn't let anything get the best of him, and he just keeps competing. So.
Kubiak is saying out there, you have 3 levels of elite players in defense. Is that what you see when you watch the Seahawks?
Yeah, across the board. Just really good defense, starting with their front, backers, and then obviously their secondary, like they fly around. Really good ball skills, and then just the way that they all play together, man. It's really well-coached defense, and all year they've just had great tape. They feel like they just do a good job of making, the quarterbacks really have to be on top of their job just every play, and waiting for that quarterback to slip up and give them an op. So they've capitalized all year, and so really good.
Kubiak also said that you never admit it, but it took you some time to kind of just be yourself out there. If you can kind of like replay in your mind when that kind of switch hit, what was it where it was like Brock is enough and Brock can just play like Brock?
What did he mean by that, actually? Or like,
he was asked about your growing confidence and how you kind of always been good and always been confident, but settling into just being you and not trying to play like anything outside of how you play and being able to accept it.
Yeah.
In a good way.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think now to answer your question. I don't know. I feel like, I've been a pretty serious kind of guy, doing my job and everything, but I'm in year 4, and so I feel like guys really do feed off of an authentic leader, an authentic quarterback guy in the locker room, and someone that's real. And so obviously trying to do my job really well at a high level, and then from that you can have some fun with it and be yourself. And at some point this season, obviously I was dealing with like my toe injury and whatnot, but once I started feeling really good from that, I was like, all right, man, I'm in year 4. I want to play my best ball, and I want to, have fun with the guys I'm doing it with. And so not really sure that I know a certain point, but just ever since coming back from my toe, it's sort of just been like, all right, dude, like go do your job, do it well. And, within that, once you score, celebrate with the guys, have fun with it, and sort of create some momentum, for the guys to feed off of. So
Week 1 tape worth much, considering how long ago it was?
Yeah, definitely. I think just seeing, our personnel versus their personnel, situational football, like just things that you can definitely go back and see. Yes, it was the first game of the season, so there's changes and things that go on during the season, both sides of the ball. But, at the end of the day, like those are the guys that we're playing against. They're going to be playing against us. Like it is valuable to go back and watch that game.
I know it came in 2 different clumps, 4 weeks or 4 weeks that we were off. Did that give you any time to kind of look and maybe reevaluate, but kind of take a step back? Do you feel different, or did that at all alter maybe the way you approach the way you're playing now?
Can you say that again? The bye week? Sorry.
No. When you were out missing games.
Yeah, okay.
You became a starter.
Yeah. just even the road games, to be on the road and I'm not playing and on the flights and stuff, sort of just going back and watching ball, having time to actually go back and watch myself and the games and everything. So did some reflecting in terms of where I could be better, but also reminding myself of like who I am as a quarterback, my style of play. When I get back, how do I want to look? How do I want to feel? So there was some really good reflection that I did during that time. But at the same time, it was like still help out Mac and try to find ways to win and help out the team however I could. So I was handling those two things. But, I think when I did come back and I was ready to roll, I definitely had a picture in my mind of, all right, dude, I want to play this style of ball. And I don't know. I feel like it did help out in some regard.
I think I say Sam Darnold, but since he's left here, he's won 26 games with 2 different teams. What do you think of what he's been able to accomplish since leaving here?
Yeah, I mean, just playing quarterback at a really high level in the NFL, man. For him to go and obviously do it with Minnesota and then Seattle, 2 different teams, and it just goes to show you how great of a player he is, great of a guy in the locker room. Like, you can't be a quarterback and fake it. Like, guys can sniff that out, and he's a guy that's gone to 2 different places and built up cultures where they're winning cultures, and so it's a testament to him for who he is, and he's an awesome guy, and obviously the talent, the mindset to play quarterback, he's got it. So definitely not surprised that he's done that.
This might sound kind of silly, but can you trace your origins of like the Dougie back? I know before that Cleveland game you told your teammates during practice, like, hey, if I score, I'm going to hit this. But why that dance? Why at that time? Was that part of you wanting to have more fun with play? And why that dance in particular as well?
Just going into that game, it was a cold game, and we knew it was going to be cold and the weather and everything. So I don't know. I sort of wanted to just get the vibes going. And for me, I told the team, like, we score, I want to like dance at some point. I'd never done that really. And so the first dance that came to mind was the Dougie. I don't know why, but I was like, I feel like it would get the guys going if I hit it. So I told the guys walk through that if we scored, we're going to do it. And we did. And it's sort of been the thing.
Did you imagine it would become what it has now become over the last 3 weeks?
Not really. It was just like a one-time thing, have fun with it. But, once we kept scoring and stuff, I was like, all right, let's just keep having fun. And that's the only thing that really came to mind, was to keep doing that. So guys have sort of ran with it, and we've had fun with it.
Talk about having fun. Your job requires a lot of tedium, a lot of intricate details and things like that. Do you feel like the team feeds off when a quarterback in particular is kind of having fun and it's organic?
Definitely. I think just with what comes with playing the position of quarterback in the NFL, like there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of just handling the huddle, the team, all the things. And so to have a guy be able to handle that kind of stuff, but do his job really well, and then from there still be a bro and a guy in the locker room that guys can have fun with, like it's a meaningful thing to a lot of guys. So, and that's not even just with quarterback. I think that's with all positions. But it's not just, hey, let's go out and just have fun. It's like, no, we got a job to do, and we got to do it at a high level. And then once we celebrate or once we score, then we can celebrate and do those things. But I feel like everybody understands that in this locker room. That's a good thing about it. But that's sort of just how I view it.
What did you learn about Ricky Pearsall in the off season, all the time you spent in Florida and Arizona?
Ricky's a baller, and he's a footballer. He's a guy that loves football, and talked about this before, but the cool thing about Ricky is, like, whenever we're practicing, whether it's routes on air, off-season stuff, even when we get back in team settings here, he's always asking questions with how he can run his route or what he's expecting from what the quarterback's expecting from the receiver. Like, he's a guy that I can go and grow with. It's not just a transactional relationship. It's a thing that, he really wants to dive deeper into this thing with his quarterback and get better together. So I think that's what I saw from him, in the offseason. And he's got the love for the game. He's not a guy that's just doing it for what the game brings. He loves being out there, running routes, breaking off guys one-on-one and making a big play in front of everybody. Like, he loves it. And he's an authentic dude. So I love playing football with him, but I feel like that's sort of what I took away from working out with him.
With Juwan, what's the connection there that he wasn't around through camp and you're having to defend kind of his contract stuff, but he's come on a lot the last month and a half.
Yeah. JJ and I go back to when I first got in as a rookie, so it's been 4 years of playing football together, and I have the utmost respect for him. Just when you turn on the film, man, he's a guy that goes hard 24/7, run blocking. You know, he catches a ball and then will try to drag 3 guys with him to get the first down. Like, he's done that time and time again. He's a guy that you want on your team to go and battle for and with. And so, I don't know. I have nothing but love for JJ, and I know it's vice versa. And you know, together we want to play with each other as long as we can, man. And he's always going to be where he needs to be. I'm going to try to get him the ball as much as I can. And you know, obviously the whole contract thing, like that was what it was. But I was so excited just to get him back and get going, and feel like we found our stride, and you know, we just got to keep it up.
Talked about how looser Brock and the Dougie and all this, but it seems like you've had this somewhere inside you for a while, because Kyle and Kubiak have both noted you did the discount double check after throwing a touchdown to Tanner Hudson in the 2002 preseason opener. Can you bring us back to that moment and what inspired it? And no one really knew you. Like, why would you think you could pull that off?
I mean, yeah, dude, I don't know. It's just like one of those things in the moment. We're playing the Packers my rookie year, throw a touchdown, and all the guys are celebrating. And first thing I think is we're playing the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers is on the other sideline. So I discount double check. It was dumb. I'm a rookie. It was in the moment, like, really, bro. I was just trying to make the team, and I pulled that out. But I don't know. It's just a competitive thing in me, man. So I'll just leave it at that.
Last one, guys. The team has had to overcome, yourself included. What does this opportunity on Saturday mean to you to be playing for the number 1 seed in the NFC?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we've just taken it one day at a time, all season long. You know, we never really thought that, hey, man, we got to go attack the number 1 seed. It was always, we got to go take on whoever we're playing on Sunday and win that game. And so this is just where we're at the end of the year. We're very grateful for that, to be in this opportunity and situation. But, you know, we can talk all we want. We have to go do it at the end of the day, you know. So we just got to go do our job, take it one play at a time for 4 quarters and you know, see where we're at the end. But we're excited, and we're going to do everything we can.
Howdy. How we doing? Start off with a go Hawks. Sorry, Vanderbilt. Thanks for hosting Tight and You, but go Hawks.
How are you feeling, George?
Fabulous. We're in a great position for Saturday night to clinch a 1 seed. So just with that, I'm doing fantastic.
You said a number of times you hate having to watch instead of being out there playing.
Absolutely.
How hard was it to watch the Chicago game, being, you know, it was a really exciting one, but then how much more did they kind of urge you to want to get out there this week?
My urge to play is always incredibly high. Just watched it. I think I just get severe anxiety watching it because there's nothing you can do about it. But that's kind of how I've always been. So just super proud of the boys for getting the job done. You know, from the offense playing at a really high level to the guys who stepped up, you know, from Austin Pleasance to Tunges to, I always say his name wrong, and Luke Farrell, just like playing at a high level. Like, I love that. And defense made a play when we needed to.
What did you see out of Austin, being that he had to step in for Trent Williams?
Did his job. You know, I think I saw a quote, he said it yesterday maybe. He goes, you know, all I have to do is do my job, worry about myself, and the guys around me will take care of me. And, you know, that's all he was focused on. And I thought he did a fantastic job, you know, just standing on the sideline all season to, hey, we need you for potentially the biggest game of the season. And he did a great job. So we're all just super happy for him.
What do you think of Jake Tunges playing so well after kind of getting phased out of the offense for a few weeks?
I mean, Jake approaches every single day like he's going to play. And, you know, he's our backup fullback. So the way that Jake prepares, like, he's studying everything that I do. He's studying everything that Juice does. So in a moment's notice, he's ready to go. And I think, you know, he's a natural football player. He's a natural mover. He's a really good athlete. Like, he plays ball at a really high level. So he's just one of those guys that waits for his opportunity. And when the opportunity comes, he just takes advantage of it.
In your career playing the Hawks, do you have a specific memory that you enjoy most?
Winning on Thanksgiving was pretty fun there. Running off the field with a full turkey, throwing it into the crowd was pretty entertaining. I don't know, my very first game ever there, we lost, but I played against Cam Chancellor and Richard Sherman, which was pretty sick, and Earl Thomas. And Cam Chancellor had an opportunity to rip my head off, and he didn't do it, so I was pretty thankful. Let's see. I've had a lot of good memories there. I love Seattle's like one of my favorite stadiums because they hate us. and it's always like twice as loud as any other stadium I ever play in. So it's such a great atmosphere, and I love their hatred for us, and hopefully the faith will bring it this weekend for them.
Juwan looks like he's in peak form right now. It seems like he's scoring a touchdown every week. There was a point early in the year.
Isn't he? 7 and 7 or something like that?
Yeah, it's
sick.
Insane. I think it was after the Tampa Bay game. He detailed all of the injuries that he was, trying to play through. How did you see him kind of weather that storm?
I mean, football's a difficult sport. You get banged up, you deal with injuries. Like, that's kind of what everybody does. It's just a reality of our sport. If you're playing the right way, you're going to feel like crap the next day after a game, and it's just what can you do throughout the week to get your body back to the right spot. Something that everybody does. And I think he's a super tough guy who wants to win, and he wants the ball, and he wants to score touchdowns. And so if you have that type of mindset, it just gives you an opportunity to kind of ignore those pains and just play through it.
Is your expectation to play on Saturday?
Absolutely.
Did you have like a radio call in so you could hear what the plays were last game, or did you?
Oh, I do have a little thing on my ear.
Did you know that, like on Jennings' touchdown to go ahead? Did you know that play was coming in? And were
Absolutely.
You watching it? What did you think of how Brock did and how?
Oh, just on that play?
Yeah, just on that play.
I mean, he calls a play. I'm usually just watching my tight ends to see if they're doing the right thing. But I'm pretty sure, I don't know what coach I'll stand next to, probably Fleury. And he was like, this could be a great one. And it was a great one, so I was really excited about that. It's fun to listen to it because I just hear what Brock hears every single time. And I really wish Brock had a microphone back to talk to Kyle, because I would thoroughly enjoy that. Because a lot of the time it's just Kyle going, Brock, can you hear me? Brock, are you listening to me? And then just Brock just giving a thumbs up. I really wish Brock had a mic. I think that'd be fun for all of us to hear.
George, with all the injuries you guys have had to overcome on both sides of the ball, what does this opportunity on Saturday to clinch the 1 seed mean to you?
I mean, anytime you're in position to, secure a 1 seed, that means you're playing really good football at a really high level. And, I feel like everybody in the locker room said it. Like, I don't think anybody believed that we'd have a chance at the 1 seed against Seattle in the last game of the season. But it's been kind of fun because no one's really been looking at that the entire year. Everyone's just like, all right, we got a game. Who are we playing? Focus on that, and then let's just get to the next week and see what we can do. And, yeah, we've lost fantastic players throughout the way, from myself to Brock to Fred to Bosa to Trent Williams. Like, guys, have gotten hurt, and it is what it is. And this team just keeps going, and the guys we have in as backups are fantastic, and they just kind of have that same mindset. So it's just a really cool thing to be a part of a team that's as gritty as this one. And while not every game might be pretty, it's really fun to watch.
Has there been a change in Brock since he started doing the Dougie? I mean, it seems like, yes, everybody's having fun, but it seems like there's a little bit of a shift.
Oh, I just think there's good energy in the building. That's what it is. When you're winning football games, you're putting together like good offensive performances. It just gives you confidence in yourself, and it gives you confidence in the guys around you. And then when QB1 is making plays, enjoying himself, dancing, whatever it is, it's just like the whole team feeds off of him. And that's not any extra pressure to him. That's just, hey, just be yourself, go be a baller, and the guys around you are going to support you, and they're going to be ballers themselves.
With the black, what makes Cheryl's defense so tough?
Let's see. One, they've got fantastic defensive front. Lawrence is having a fantastic year. He's Pro Bowler this year. Williams is fantastic. I mean, their whole D-line is just violent. You can watch their tape, and you can really see, like, every time that, whether it's run or pass, like, you see offensive linemen on the ground just getting thrown around the entire time. And not every D-line is like that. And then when you put in, like, a very well-coached secondary right behind that who doesn't give up any big plays, but they're very good at coming up on all the checkdowns, like a lot of checkdowns, like you see, and then the Colts were hitting us for, like, 6-yard checkdowns, 12-yard checkdowns. Seattle's defense really holds everything to, like, 2 to 4 yards on checkdowns, and so it's like every yard really matters against them. Like, if it's 2nd and 8 and then all of a sudden it's 3rd and 7, hey, that's a little bit more tough. Like, you have to fight for those extra yards. So when you get to 3rd down, it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, and you can stay on the field. And I think that's the most important thing is when we beat them in Seattle week 1. I think we started the season off with a 16-play drive, and then like our third drive was a 14-play drive for 8 minutes. And so I think the goal is stay on the field, get first downs, and then we just have to continue to score in the red zone.
When I asked Brock about the confidence and the growth in his confidence throughout the season, he mentioned that the toe, coming back from the toe, really helped him to kind of just want to lock in and play even better. Were there any cool moments when he was off that you guys kind of talked through that kind of helped you to understand, like, I see this thing?
Yeah, that was 8 weeks ago, so I don't have any quotes for you about that. I don't even know what I ate for lunch yesterday, and that's just because I'm a guy, not because I play football. But, I mean, Brock attacks everything. Like, he's done it since he was a rookie, from, calling through all the plays and walking through by himself to now that he's a starter. He does, like, all the extra stuff. So, like, everything he's been doing, like, he just prepares himself to be great every single day. And he kind of sets a standard for what this building needs to be.
What do you think of the uniforms you guys are going to be wearing on Saturday?
The helmets are sick. I can't wait to wear them. They're beautiful, and it'll just kind of be fun to wear something new.